Timbers goalie Jake Gleeson is suing a Timbers doctor for more than $25 million. He's alleging medical malpractice tied to a surgery that Gleeson says cost him his career. For the first time, we're now hearing from Gleeson himself. Fox 12's Julia Lopez just stepped out of the courtroom and joins us now live. So, Julia, what's happening now?
Well, court just now adjourned today. We heard from Jake Gleeson, who testified for more than 4 hours. He has gotten emotional walking the court through years of surgeries and recoveries that he says ended a career that he spent his life building and left him in a dark place. It started back in 2018. Former Timbers physician Dr. Richard Edelson performed surgery on Gleeson for stress fractures on his shins. According to the lawsuit, Edelson is accused of not properly sanitizing an orthopedic plate placed in his leg and instead doing a flash sterilization. After surgery, the lawsuit says Gleeson's right tibia became infected and an additional surgery had to be performed, but the metal plate that allegedly caused the infection was not removed.
I was just trying to understand why had it got to this point. He said, this wasn't your fault.
Take a deep breath.
This wasn't your fault. You flashed your plate. You put a dirty plate inside your leg. I was sick. I could just feel my body rotting from the inside. I was not holding food down. And then just, like, how could no one tell me? This was surgery number 6. How could they let it get this far? How could they let it get this bad? I just remember just feeling worthless as a human. That the bare minimum requirements weren't met.
Gleeson went on to have 14 surgeries following infections to both his legs. Edelson's lawyers have maintained that it was life in the MLS that made him susceptible to infection and not any fault of Edelson's. Today, Gleeson was questioned by the defense. They asked him about classes he'd begun taking prior to the surgery, career interests he expressed outside of soccer, and a consent form that he said he signed that informed of a risk of infection. We'll bring you more details tonight at 6. For now, reporting live from downtown Portland, Julia Lopez, Fox 12 Oregon.